In the West, battles over land use are as common as sagebrush and deep blue skies. Now, however, a new method of sharing ideas has traditional adversaries working together to solve problems that once seemed insurmountable. This spirit of cooperation evolved out of a process the participants called shared vision. The process focuses on resolving problems by giving each participant an equal voice, eliminating blame, and building consensus. Dave Terrell works for Nevada Cooperative Extension. It was Terrell who initiated the shared vision process and persuaded people to give it a try.
A lot of concern existed in Humboldt County over the issue of riparian habitat. Forage began to disappear for livestock and wildlife use. Erosion was occurring, and fish habitat was disappearing. This resulted in a lot of conflict amongst the users of public lands. Tensions began to build and cooperation became very limited. To solve the problem, I decided to try to get all the interest groups to form consensus rather than conflict.
Terrell invited ranchers, land managers, and environmentalists to get together and discuss riparian management. Terrell focused on building trust between people who looked at riparian issues from opposite viewpoints. Ice-breaking exercises helped people get to know one another. More informal drills revealed ideas everyone shared in common.
After a while, they began to realize that they were working with individuals and not bureaucracies. And then they began to trust one another.
At that point, the group was ready to discuss riparian issues. Every person was asked to respond to the questions: what do you need to happen? What do you want to happen? And what do you expect to happen in regards to riparian management? Every response was summarized and thoroughly discussed by the group.
Mapping is very important because it gives every individual an opportunity to be heard.
More importantly, people realized they shared the same goal: the desire to make actual, on-the-ground improvements in riparian areas. This became their shared vision. With this common goal, teamwork evolved naturally. Steve Williams, a resource manager for the Humboldt National Forest, wrote a proposal requesting funds for a riparian demonstration project. The Nevada Division of Environmental Protection agreed to finance the riparian demonstration.
The goal of our agency is to protect and improve water quality, and we do this by preventing and reducing non-point source pollution. And this includes both erosion control and thermal pollution. In the case of the Quinn River, this is a Lahontan cutthroat trout fishery, and Lahontan cutthroat trout are threatened species. And so therefore it's a very important project from that standpoint.
The Shared Vision Group then reviewed a number of potential demonstration sites. They eventually selected a crumbling section of stream along the east fork of the Quinn River for rehabilitation. The Quinn River flows out of the rugged Santa Rosa Mountains, about 80 miles northwest of Winnemucca.
The goal of this project was to improve riparian conditions along the Quinn River. To do this, we proposed 3 separate types of treatments. The first was to create a riparian pasture, and this wasn't to exclude cattle from grazing this area, but rather to allow us to better control the amount and time of use within the riparian area. The second part of the project was to armor the stream banks which are currently eroding into the stream. To do this, we used juniper and sagebrush. And the third part of the project was to plant willows along several sections of the stream which currently have no willow cover.
The ranchers holding grazing permits on the Quinn River allotment had a keen interest in riparian management. They had been a part of the Shared Vision Group since the initial meetings. The ranchers agreed to build an 8-mile fence that would create a riparian pasture. The Forest Service purchased fencing materials, and the ranchers paid labor costs.
The cost to us was quite manageable because the others involved supplied the materials and we supplied the labor. And we were happy to do it. I think it's clear that the benefits to our cattle operation will outweigh the cost. We'll get higher calf crop percentages and heavier calves out of this and a healthier cattle herd. Also, the forage resource will be easier to maintain in good condition over the long term.
Boy Scout Jason Clark earned his Eagle Award for planting willow saplings along the banks of the Quinn. He and other volunteers planted more than 1,400 saplings. As the willows grow, they will shade the water and keep it cool, making it much more habitable for fish.
I needed a project for my eagles, so I volunteered to help out with planting willows along the Quinn River.
The Nevada Division of Forestry cut junipers and sagebrush as another part of the rehabilitation effort. Inmates from the Rose Creek Conservation Camp near Winnemucca layered the trees and brush along actively eroding banks. The brush will keep banks from crumbling into the stream and causing sediment pollution. The brush will also trap sediment that will help the banks rebuild. Jim French is the fisheries biologist for the Nevada Department of Wildlife. The Quinn is one of the 163 streams and 8 reservoirs he manages for the people of Nevada. French and Forest Service land managers will be monitoring the Quinn River for the next several years. By comparing current and past data generated from 7 in-stream monitoring stations, they will be able to detect changes in water quality.
What we've been noticing in this stream is a radical change in fish populations. Historically, we have noticed the stream has produced over 1,300 fish per mile. Our recent surveys have indicated less than 25 fish per mile. During our stream survey, we determined that sediment loading in the stream caused from erosion, bank erosion, and thermal pollution from a lack of shading from the riparian species over the stream was causing marked declines in reproduction in the fish. And what we hope to accomplish in this project is a return to a blue ribbon fishery that this historically was.
In the past, riparian zones have often been seen as sacrifice areas. 70% of Nevada's streams are in poor to fair condition. Nevadans are so used to seeing degraded riparian areas, they think these streams are in a natural state. In truth, these streams can be green, lush, and fruitful if they are allowed to recover from the impacts of grazing, floods, fire, and man. With cooperation between land users and agencies, with a shared vision based on consensus, many Nevada streams could look as naturally beautiful as they once were. Nevada's precious streams and lakes belong to all of us who live in this arid corner of the Great Basin. With cooperation and a shared vision, the Quinn River and the hundreds of other streams just like it will be around for all future generations to use and enjoy. For more information about shared vision and working with groups, contact Dave Terrell at the Humboldt County Extension Office. If you would like a copy of this tape, write or call the District Ranger at the Santa Rosa Ranger District. A shared vision for the Quinn River was produced by Nevada Cooperative Extension and the U.S. Forest Service. The producers would like to thank the Nevada Division of Environmental Protection and the Environmental Protection Agency for funding this project through Section 319H, Clean Water Act grant funds.